How's it going, shoppers? Today we're going to be trying to figure out if Instacart is scamming their shoppers again. If you guys didn't know, this apparently was a thing a while back. Yeah, Instacart kind of got caught doing some fishy stuff with the tips. They actually had to settle a lawsuit on that entire ordeal. It was not pretty. But recently I had an order where Instacart, if you don't include miles, paid me a whopping like $1. So we're going to be taking a look at that order because, to be honest, it was a little bit alarming on how the Instacart Pay works. Before we get into that order, though, we need to bring up some information so that whenever I talk about it, it actually makes sense. So I'm actually going to use the DoorDash Pay here because I think this is like the best way to describe how Instacart pays us. It's almost identical. So you have the base pay, you have promotions, and then tips. That's how you get your total earnings. Today, we're specifically going to be looking at base pay on Instacart. All right, so now let's get off DoorDash. So Instacart says they will pay you a minimum of $7 to $10 for each order you do as a full service shopper. This isn't really a base pay because this is like just the minimum they pay you. The problem is we don't know where they start at whenever they start adding the pay for the miles. And on one of my orders recently, if you guys disclude the miles, they only paid me $1.50 or something like that. But we'll take an exact look at that in a second. So one of my main issues is we just don't know what's being at play here. Like, how are they keeping these huge orders at $7 pay sometimes, and then sometimes it's $20? There is no clear answer for this, and that is my problem. And that's why we're going to look at several orders today to try and get an average of where they start for that base pay whenever they add the miles to it. I really hope this is making sense because I feel like this is just getting confusing. So let's take a look at this real fast. So I was talking to support about this because I was trying to figure out what their actual base pay was. And this is what the support agent said. Very nice guy, actually helpful too. It varies, as I said. This is one of the lowest I've seen it, but I do know it goes above or below the $7 mark. We usually just say it's around $7. So your base pay technically could be significantly lower than $7, but whenever they add the miles, it's going to probably be slightly over. But even the support agents don't know where they start at. All right, so let's take a look at this order. This is the order that had some people worried whenever they saw it on my channel. So just for miles alone, let's come up with how much money Instacart would have paid me. So Instacart should have paid me $5.94 just for the miles alone. So whenever you subtract that from whatever they did pay me, you guys end up with this. Instacart paid me $1.50 if you guys disclude the miles. So the problem is we don't know where that number is starting because sometimes it seems like the miles get added on to the $7 that they originally have as like the minimum pay. And then sometimes it seems like it's almost the entire base pay is just the miles itself. There's no Instacart paying me $3 just to go do the order. It's they paid me $1.50 to go do the order. Then they paid me $5.94 to do the miles. So they paid me $1.50 to go shop and order. Just keep that in mind. That is why tips are so important right now. So let's start keeping track of these. So let's keep track of these so we can come up with like an average here just from 5 orders. All right, so for this one, Instacart paid me $2.61 before miles. This one was a bit better at $4.47. This one was a little weird because, as you guys could see, their base pay was $7. So they did not add the miles to the $7. Somehow they added the miles to their like actual base pay and got to $7. But there's just no transparency on how that works. This one was $3.94. And that's the last one that we have to look at, so let's go do a quick average. So before we actually average everything, just take a look at this. The very first one, the order that people were kind of like worried about, it just does not line up with these right from the bat. All right, so this is the average that I got. This is what Instacart pays us on average before miles. Obviously, the more information you have, the more accurate that average would be. That is just from 5 orders, including my weird $1.50 one. But the real question is, if the average is 3.5, what in the world made this one so low? And why do I see things like that so often? And it gets even worse. Whenever you guys look at double orders, you guys could shop for 2 people at once, and the base pay still stays at $7. You're not getting the base pay twice, you're getting base pay once plus miles. So there are literally orders out there where there's no tip. Instacart will only pay you $7 to shop and deliver for 2 people. So is Instacart scamming us? I don't know. If you guys have any feedback, I would love to hear it in the comment section down below. Personally, I'm still pretty happy with Instacart because people tip me so generously that there's just nothing to complain about. I think about 2/3 of my income is from tips and about 1/3 of it's from Instacart. Instacart's pay is not really substantial at all. Most of our money is made through customer tips. So that is why it is so important to leave tips for your drivers right now, especially at the gas prices. Sometimes it's just straight up not worth it for us to go do an order and then spend $5 in gas. All right, that is the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully it made sense and I don't just look crazy. And yeah, see you guys on the next one.